What? Tell me I'm wrong. Look at them.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
Hey everyone, welcome to the DFC podcast. This is episode number 14. I'm Audio Reborn. Today we have No Face and Crackerfall, and we have a returning guest, Moss. How you doing, guys?
Hey, everybody.
Doing pretty well.
All right. Just another Friday with tacos, right?
Yep.
Cool. So, I'd like to get started here. We're going to talk about our week in gaming. Has anything interesting, D2, happened to anybody this week?
So, I'll go ahead and start the D2 talk ever so slightly. So, I have been playing a little bit of the Destiny. Iron Banner is going on right now. And so, at the very least, I logged in, played enough games, bought the remainder of the armor that I did not have. I think I just was missing like the helmet or something like that. And I've been trying to grind out the ornaments for Iron Banner. Because in all honesty, the ornaments are pretty cool. So, yeah, I've been playing some Iron Banner on the Destiny, and it's honestly it's been pretty fun. Like, I've been enjoying it. It's not
Sweet.
as terrible as Krakenfall may make you believe the PvP is.
So did they actually? So the 31st update or the 30th update? I remember which. What did they introduce that affected you?
So as far as PvP goes, they didn't really introduce much. They introduced the Masterworks armor, which I will say does help. It doesn't really overly make Arcstrider super viable. You still get shot out of your super pretty easily if you're an Arcstrider because, screw hunters,
Right.
apparently. But it is, it makes it more viable, which is nice.
So most of this week at Bungie that they announced this week was, I think that's not happening yet. So
Yeah,
Actually,
so
did
the
you-
stuff that was added this week, like the more important stuff in my opinion, was like the raid mods, which so like if you had new raid armor and everything, you can get the raid mods, and those are supposed to be, I haven't run the raid yet, but those are supposed to be pretty nice, and they're supposed to really make the prestige mode feel good. So I don't know, I'll have to run some raids and see how that works.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. The raid mods are actually pretty good, according to the video I watched by Dado. He sounded pretty positive about it. So
yeah.
But as for me, I played on Xbox this week. I didn't really turn on my PC that much, and played a little Iron Banner for a couple of days. I bought the last hunter piece that I needed, was my cloak, and that was about it for me. I didn't really feel like grinding out ornaments and stuff. I'd been sick all week, so I wasn't really up to it that much. But yeah, other than that, been playing a little bit of Division here and there. But
Sweet.
why did you, Kraken?
I have been playing Subnautica on PC. That's been, oh my gosh, I love Subnautica so much. If you don't know what it is, it's a survival sandbox game, kind of like Minecraft or some of the others, where you watch the beginning cutscene is like your spaceship flying into this planet and crashing into this ocean planet, and it's just like you eject at the last minute. You're in an escape pod, and it's on fire and everything, and you like break out, and you're in the middle of this ocean. So what do? So you have like a fabricator, and you have like this. It's basically you can generate a bunch of equipment. So it's not like you're breaking stones together to make your life out in this ocean. You have some tech, but the way that they built it, it's like, I saw an article, I think it was PC Gamer, that was saying that this game is pretty much what No Man's Sky should have been, and I really, really agree with that. Like,
That's pretty high praise.
It seems like it's randomly. I mean, it's within the scope of an ocean, so as far as you can swim with your own legs and hands, and then as you get better stuff, you get like, I don't know if you've ever seen those. They're like kind of look like Sea-Doo kind of things. Like you hold, there's like two grips, like when you're scuba diving, and it kind of like has this rotor. It was in the James Bond movie. I think it was Moonraker, not
Oh, like
Moonraker.
the underwater jet ski kind of things.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you just hold on to it and it like swims for you.
I like that you referenced Moonraker. That's old school.
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched
for
all
real.
the James Bond movies. Anybody who hasn't should, but
Agreed.
it's really cool, and the pacing is just excellent. The exploration and the feeling, like they always have a carrot. They always have the next goal for you, and they've got a couple goals, so you can decide what you want to do. And there's always an area that you can't go because it's just too darn dangerous, and it's the decision that you make, not the game makes. Like, you just can't go there because you're going to die and you know it. So it's excellently made game. Probably the best example of early access success, in my opinion. But I bought it months ago during early access because I liked the description and it was on sale in the Steam sale. But it is so freaking fun, and I want to be home playing it every hour I'm at work. So that's been less fun, but such a good game. If you guys have PC, I would pick it up. I hope it comes out on console because it's such a great game.
Yeah, because before we started recording, I think me and No Face were talking about it, and we were way off as far as the description goes. I thought it was like a horror game or something.
Oh, what game?
Like a horror game?
Oh, no, not at all.
Like a survival?
So, I mean, the first time I loaded it up was in VR. Because if you don't know, I bought a VR headset. I've been following VR for forever.
And depending on how you play, everything can be a horror game in VR.
Well, right. But, I mean, so the controls sucked in VR. Like, the actual hand controls sucked, so I stopped playing. But the first time I climbed out of that escape pod, jumped into the ocean, it gave me the exact same feeling of swimming in open water. Which, if you have ever swam in open water, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like this cold slap on your chest that just like, holy shit, I can't see the ground. And I'm floating out here, and there's really big space underneath me, and I don't know what's under there. And it had a similar feeling. Like, I don't know what's here. There's alien fish, there's alien things, there's coral that I've never seen before. And so the feeling of danger is like always around the corner, but you're not necessarily threatened every minute. So, I don't know, they did a great job. And I wish I knew the studio because I'd give them a shout out, but I'm really, really enjoying that, and I'm going to be playing that for the next week or two.
Yeah, that does sound like a lot of fun. I might actually pick that up here pretty soon when I get back.
It's $20.
I wanted to try something new, so.
Well, actually, I think it's 25 after the sale's over, but it should be going down to like 15 or 10 for the Valentine's Day Steam sale. I don't remember if that's a thing.
Wait, they do a sale for Valentine's Day?
I don't know. Sometimes they pick sales. There's like the ones that happen every year, but
so random.
I don't remember what the next one is.
Right. What about you, Moss? What have you been up to this week?
Game wise, what little time I've been on, I've spent in the Division, but had a somewhat busy schedule lately. Just kind of dealing with the real life side of things. Not in anything bad, but
Right.
got something good kind of on a slow boil right now, and once it comes to something I can confirm, I'll talk about it a little bit better. But kind of excited and a little unnerved at the same time.
Yeah,
I wonder if I can guess.
I think I know what we're talking about here, and like, I think I speak for everyone when we say that we hope everything works out for you and your family for the best, because I mean, opportunities and all that sort of stuff.
No kidding. All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. So, back before we started posting our episodes, I figured I'd give a little context. We had created a pilot episode, which never actually made it to our list of episodes on YouTube. There were some problems with the audio, and we couldn't restore it. So,
This was back, when we really didn't know what we're doing. We kind of know what's going on right now,
Yeah.
but this is this is way
Yeah.
back. We had no clue.
Yeah.
It was one person's audio didn't quite make it. Like, it was recording, but it was, yeah. So we had a whole episode out there that we kind of just lost, which that's okay.
Yeah, so basically the episode, we were just wanted to give a little background on ourselves, which we probably shouldn't. You know us by now. And then, just talk about the history of the clan, DeltaCo 71, or Delta Company 71, as some may know it as. And just talk about just some of the history, and why we joined, and, just any, cool memories that you have of it. Anybody else want to talk about? But actually, the founders. So, I don't know about Kraken, but Moss, I know me and you, we go way back, like way, way back.
Yeah.
So,
Is there something we don't know going on here?
we'll see. So, anyways,
There's always
yeah,
a little innuendo going on amongst the tacos, I feel like.
yeah. Yeah, sorry. I am really doped up on medication right now, so I'm kind of loopy right now. So don't mind me. You can edit this out if you want. I don't care. But
So it started in 2015, right?
right,
Like-
yeah. So I guess I'll share my part of the story. Is this was around the time when Dark Below came out, and I remember going. I was with another clan at the time, and they were all a bunch of douchebags. So I left, and I went to the 100, and it put me in this group with, I think it was Jinx and Tim and Wolfo and somebody else. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been VT or Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was just running like some Crucible with them, and then I joined the group, and then a couple weeks later we had a clan, and the rest is just kind of history.
Wait, audio.
And the reason why I joined them was
Were you one of like the founding members of Delta Company 71?
yeah.
Really? I don't know how I've talked
Uh-huh.
to you this much and never realized that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just dense. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
everyone.
Yeah, no, I was in the 100 before before the clan was created.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
because that's what I was going to talk about, was the beginning of the 100 group. And then
Yeah.
I guess the clan, I don't actually remember when the clan started because I got a late invitation, but like January 10th was when the 100 launched. I remember the Reddit post for that. It was January 10th, 2015. I think that was like 2 months after Dark Below released. And the 100 was like freaking awesome. And I've said before, like I was pretty antisocial when it came to first-person shooters. Like people would invite me to their Xbox Live party, and I'd hang out with them for a night and then never talk to them again. But when the 100 came around, Karandon and I, who's another clan member, jumped at the opportunity because we were basically soloing and two-manning Nightfalls, and that was the best we could do. I was solo queuing Crucible because I'm addicted to that shit, but we wanted more. Yeah. Well, I mean, back then it was super fun. It was a power fantasy, and matchmaking really wasn't the thing. Like the matchmaking tiers weren't a thing. So like I pretty much got matched in with people of random skill, and so every game was fun. It was so awesome. Every game was just crapping on everyone else in the lobby until they really started improving matchmaking. But yeah, so Crandon and I joined the 100. We got into a group. It was like Gamma something, and it was stupid. we had a Nightfall and no one showed up. A Nightfall session that we filed and no one showed up, so we just did it alone, and we finished it in I think like 40 minutes because the game was still new. We weren't that good yet. And then we're like, this is stupid, and we canceled that group and we rematched again, and we got this DeltaCo 71, and we created a Nightfall session, and the first, like, not even 10 minutes after we created it, Tim, the Timinator, 2010, I think, he just jumped in. And so that night we played the Nightfall. We beat it in 15 minutes. It was so excellent. It felt so good. And so we started to get a little bit more active in the 100. So that was like 2 days after the 100 launched. Like we got into DeltaCo 71. Yeah, and it was just awesome. And I started meeting more people like Infamous and
talking to them.
and to actually talking to them. Yeah, it was. I can't. That was monumental. I don't know what I had against talking to people, strangers on the internet.
Apparently, like you listened to your mother when you were a kid.
Yeah, social anxieties and crap that you have when you're not sure of yourself. But yeah, it was just so fun, and Destiny is such a fun medium to explore like relationships with people online and just create friendships and play an awesome game. So that like was it. I was sold. We played our first raid, and I had a raid group like from college buddies, but they were never. Let's just say we had difficulties. But the first time I did a raid with Tim, like we finished it in like 35 minutes, which is the fastest I had ever done that raid. And I think only the second time I'd ever beaten it, the Dark Below raid, Courtesan. So that was so awesome. I was sold, and I did the 100 stuff since then. And when they created the clan and I found it out, I joined, and it's been awesome ever since. So
Cool. I actually had a very similar experience to what Krakenfall had. I want to say I joined probably in February or something on the 100. But yeah, I got into some group that was really inactive, and then went ahead and dropped out of that group, rematched, and got randomly thrown into the tacos. And then honestly, at this point, I had a full-time job and everything like that, and so I was really only playing like on weekends and sometimes at night, because I was, I was also coaching, which was taking up a ton of my time. And so I was still pretty low level. Like I hadn't even hit, well, and this was also back when, your light level was awful to improve. Like once you hit max level, getting your light level up was way harder if you didn't, because you had to do the raids. And so I actually really specifically remember Rao ran a ton of stuff with me, like helping me level my character up, running me through my first Vogue, running me through my first Crota's End, all sort of stuff. And so, yeah, it was amazing because like I had no one to do that with before. And so, yeah. So that's kind of my experience. And so now to get another perspective, I would like to hear all of Moss's old school story.
Moss was texting us in the background saying how much of his old school story we want.
All right.
We want it all.
Okay. I remember like 2 years before Destiny came out, I first read an article about it, and I just, holy shit, got hooked.
Yeah.
It drew me in. Everything it was about, it just sounded so romantic, so amazing. I was in right there. And as soon as I saw a pre-order for it, boom, down, got it, let's go. Delay after delay, finally came out. Holy shit, here it is, playing it. What the fuck is this required online shit? Excuse my language. But that's about how I felt. I just had all my life played solo games. All my life hadn't had any issue having a campaign I could just do myself.
Yeah.
And now here I am faced with things that I won't ever be able to touch unless I can somehow get an organized group of people to actually communicate, work together, and make this happen. And frustration after frustration of trying to LFG it, I finally found a group. I was a newfound father, and it was a Dads of Destinies. I thought I was corny and adorable at the same time. And I was like, I'm in, let's do it. Got in with one of the little sub-clans, ran with some people, got me through my first couple raids. I was that much more hooked in this game. It's amazing. And one of the guys in that particular Dad's of Destiny clan happened to be friends with the creator of the 100.
Oh, cool.
And asked if we would be willing to kind of be involved in the beta testing of it in terms of scheduling our events. And helped us. So right when it kicked off, we had our own just perfectly empty clan team to start with. That was actually Charlie 888, and the native clan that when I took the survey to join the 100, it put me into Delta Company 71. And I happened to have the blessing of 2 really awesome companies that were super active in the game. And what really sold me on my home native clan of the Tacos was the fact that I joined up on a raid run for Crota's End, and we got to the bridge. And just out of politeness, I said, which way are we running this? Are we going to do the bridge cheese, or are we running this legit? And Steven came in and said, oh, hell no, we're doing this legit. And I was like, this is my
That's
home.
how he does it.
This is my home right here.
Yep.
We're going into the din of battle, and we're having a blast doing it. And I found out you guys had just as hilarious and sarcastic and filthy senses of humor as mine. And
I don't know what
man,
you're talking about. We are very level-headed, clean, sense of humor people around here.
Rated,
Y'all need Jesus.
Rated G. Praise God.
But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun kind of seeing it all come to fruition and opening a whole new world of friends and opportunities to bond with people that I just never would have this same potential in this nice, tiny little, really conservative church town that I live in. Of all of like 20,000 people, so not this tiny, not a whole lot of gamers down here, not a whole lot of people that are gonna enjoy some of the same things I like to kick back and relax with. So it's just amazing to have this outlet to connect with people, and judgment-free zone, open up, be exactly who you are, and be surrounded by nothing but the people that share those same sentiments, the same types of mentalities.
And that, I'm going to agree with you. That is one of the great things about the tacos, is that we all come from like very different walks of life. Like I literally live in the middle of nowhere, like with a population of like me in my town. And, like we have people on the West Coast. We have, professionals. We have like, all sorts of people who do all these different things. But when we all come together, we're all like, hey, we're tacos and we're going to play some video games, or we're just going to sit in orbit for a half hour while waiting on like a 6th person to join our raid and just talk.
Yeah.
Like, it's always, everyone's just like, I don't care what you do in real life. Like, are you cool? Like, are you a decent person? Like, I don't care like what you've ever done. And that's the great thing about the tacos. It's really that companionship and how that's what brings us together. And we're just kind of using video games as a medium for that.
That's honestly, that's probably why I wasn't very social. Is that every exposure I'd had to people online, Xbox Live, etc., was like the people making sexist and racist and dick jokes and like saying I fucked your mother and stupid stuff like that. It's like, I don't want to associate with these people. So when the 100 came around and sort of got me around that, it was just, I was elated to like find people that are just good people I could relate to. I mean, I can probably find ways to relate to those foul-mouthed 12-year-olds too, but like you guys were just awesome to play with. Just like every time I just felt
likewise, man.
Oh shit.
That was a great night. That was time well spent.
Awesome. Yeah, man, I'm just gonna get a little real for a second. So when I moved where I live now, I left my family and my friends back behind where I used to live, and where I live now, I'm a very antisocial person. I'm very socially awkward. Like, I don't really like try to go out and make friends. So usually my life is go to work, come home, and then that's it. Like, and I take care of my family, So when the beta for Destiny came out, I was like Moss. I was like, I've got to get this game. This game looks great. So I played the beta, and then the game came out and I got the game and so on and so forth. But being in this clan has been one of the best things. That's actually, I wouldn't say the absolute best, but it's way up there in the top 5 for sure. Like that's ever happened to me, because having this, the way that we all just take care of each other, and we're always there for each other no matter what, and we can still have fun and play games and be adults about it at the same time. I mean, you can't really ask for more than that.
Yeah,
you really can't. And the thing that really just kind of like hit home with me was back when when the Taken King came out, everybody was upgrading from their Xbox 360s to the Xbox Ones, and I think it was me, and there was like one other person that
Steven.
still had a 360. Yeah, it was me and no, the Steven had already upgraded.
Okay.
It was me and I think it was Groove. We were the only other people that had it on 360. And I was at a time in my life where I had a shit job, and I had to work a lot, and I just couldn't afford it, And then one day, I'll never forget this. I was at work, and my phone was in my pocket, and it was just fucking going off like crazy. I was like, what the fuck is going? I thought something was wrong with my phone. So I picked up my phone and I looked at it, and Groomy is blowing up my fucking screen. I was like, I'll be right back. So I go to the break room, right? And I open up my phone and I go through all these fucking messages, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because I'm trying to go through all this shit. So basically what happened is, without me knowing, Moss and I don't remember who else it was. It was like Mad Dog. It was like a whole shit ton of. It was a pile of clan members. They all pitched in and they got together and they bought me an Xbox One. And Moss shipped it to me. 2-day shipping. I got it on a holiday, which was even better when the mail doesn't ruin. I mean, seriously. That was real. That's when I realized that there is no way that I will play with anybody else ever again. If it ain't tacos, forget about it.
It's the Ohana, man.
It is the Ohana, man. That's right, man.
that's awesome.
I know that's a little deep, but I've been wanting to share that story with you guys for a while. I don't think a lot of people know about that. Anyways, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna actually mention that. Yeah, there's been a bunch of those kind of occasions where opportunities, the tacos have pitched in and done something amazing. And in my own personal story, when my son was born, everybody had pitched in, and I've got a most beautiful piece of art that incorporates my love of the clan and my family crest, and a wonderful and touching tribute from everybody in the clan, or a good portion of everybody, I should say. And it's probably one of my most prized possessions now.
Did it Nerdy draw that up?
Yeah, Nerdy drew it. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal art.
Yeah, Husker.
Holy smokes.
Husker
Yeah, we'll have to get that picture.
spearheaded it, and we had another chat for it. And we were like, that was so fun. Like everyone helping and pitching in and figuring out how we're going to do this and that. And okay, let's get all the names. And oh, crap, this person's not in the list of names. And doesn't.
Yeah, I think that was during my gaming hiatus where I just wasn't playing anything or.
Well, and then like the number of times we spell checked everything on there. It's like,
I know.
Guys, are we sure everything's spelled correctly?
Yep.
Crazy.
And or if you don't mind, the current situation, not situation, there's a current need, if you will. One of our own, CMAC, has had some pretty challenging situations before him with his amazing family and his daughter. Really struggling with some things they're trying to get a understanding of health wise, and they're going through some pretty serious, well, not serious, just legit
Scary.
I'm terrified. I even trying to put myself in his shoes, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's definitely serious. It's the kind of thing, because so I don't want to out what's going on because his family is private, but the specific. So she has a medical condition, and I've actually had 3 friends that have similar symptoms. Um, and one of them's my best friend that is a brother to me. Like I actually consider him to be a brother to me, and it's just the scariest thing. I know exactly what their family's going through because I spent a lot of time with my best friend's family, and it would happen to him. The medical condition would have an episode when I was there, and I'm playing video games in the other room, drinking Dr. Pepper as a 12-year-old, and all of a sudden, like, we've got to go to the hospital, and I just feel for them, and I really hope they may, we're there for them.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
real. And I believe there is a GoFundMe for that. So if we can get the link to that, we'll post it down below. So that way, if you guys want to help them out, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that anything you can donate is
Yeah.
is more than
A lot of us have already contributed, but I know that
Yeah.
the costs are ongoing. They're going to prestigious
Mayo
medical
Clinic,
center,
right?
so Mayo Clinic.
There,
Yeah,
there is
Mhm.
there is an update going on, and it's some progress being made in that too.
that's good. That's good. Good to hear.
That's good. That's good to hear. So as we all sit here, we talk about like these really great memories that we have with the clan and things like that. Let's not forget. This clan wouldn't have been founded if it wasn't for, of course, Timinator 2010. He was the clan leader or founder. Moss, you could probably correct me on this. I don't remember like dates or years, so I don't know the timeline, but Timinator I believe he had taken his own life here a while back. Like I said, I don't remember dates, and that I remember when I found out, and it really I didn't know him like in real life, but like I'd been playing with it for a really long time. And we even talked like outside of game time, just kind of chit chatting and talking it up. And we acquired a friendship, and to hear something like that happen, it really like struck a chord with me personally, and I could feel it like just across the clan. Like it really, I feel like it brought us together, but it also, I'm not really sure. Like
It hurt.
Yeah, it hurt. It was it sucked,
So-
and there's not. I mean, when I sit here and I every time I see this name, I think of Tim. I mean, he was a really great guy,
So
and it was yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna Moss, you'll have to help me with this, but I had just joined the GroupMe chat because I was mostly 100 participation until I think like a month before. So I hadn't been in GroupMe that long, but I think it was like June of 2015. That basically we found out through the news that Tim had gone missing, and there was a man or not a manhunt because it's not. There was a search. There was a search party going on, and there was social media. We're like, hey, if you've seen this guy, let us know. Oh, his truck was found at a truck stop, I think, or
Rest stop.
rest stop.
That was
Yeah,
near a
rest stop.
train station.
So I mean that had been going on for I think 2 or 3 days when he went missing. He was missing for like 24 or 48 hours, and then we were waiting to hear about him because he had been pretty consistent. It's not like he ever had a drop off of participation in the clan, and he had just been playing with this like literally like 3 days before he went missing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there were a few of them that had played like the night before.
right.
I think Shinx had actually run with him on something the night before. But it was June of oof, I remember.
It was the very end of June, the very beginning of July is when it
Yeah.
was. 2015.
And so we were just following really closely. Is we're kind of networking, trying to get as much information as possible, checking I think we had even people looking at the transponder, like the radio, the EMS radio, like what's going on, has anybody found them? And I don't know, a couple days later, the news hit that that
There
he,
had been a parallel news story about a guy getting hit by a train.
yeah,
And it finally was released that it was actually Tim. And I guess a little bit later after that, it kind of started getting into the reality that he likely took his own life. And if you ask me, that is the catalyst that created the true spirit of Ohana. The reality that one of us could so suddenly vanish. I know personally, all I could think was, please, none of y'all ever feel like you can't talk to any one of us. I think that was when I outed my real life to people and invited them to look me up on Facebook or seek me out on my text me anything. It was so important to me that people that I loved, that had been playing with for so much, shared so much with, that I didn't ever want any of them to feel alone after being struck with that reality. His sudden just not there, and he was such a positive light. Amazing spirit, raid with.
Yeah.
Amazing guy. Could get any of us just fits of laughter.
yeah,
God, he loved to shoulder charge people off of cliffs.
yes.
Oh,
That's how that started, because that's a hallmark in the clan. I don't know. He was just a quiet but ever present. Like he didn't necessarily take the limelight and make the loudest jokes, but like he always knew he was here. He was always there with you, in whatever activity you were doing. And he always helped. He always helped. You know, if you didn't know something, he'd ask if like, oh, did you know this? And it's like, oh no, I didn't. I didn't know you could hide here in this nightfall and make it. Like half my solo nightfall runs were made possible because how well he knew the game, you know, better than me. But
Yeah, and
so
sorry, go ahead, Audio.
go ahead. So basically, I mean, that. Sorry, I'm getting kind of choked up.
No worries.
Go ahead.
So I was just going to kind of echo Moss's statements about stuff like, because so I was, through a series of terrible life decisions, I was a public school teacher for about 8 years. And I taught at the high school level. And so the deal is, the sad thing about that is that on a long enough time span, as a teacher, you're definitely going to have students that you had commit suicide. And so I've definitely had a non-zero number of students that I knew commit suicide. And so it's really weird because like when you do, like just all of a sudden someone is not there. And especially like with Tim, who was on like every night, and then all of a sudden he's just gone. And like, you know, you want to talk to him about something or ask him or something. It's just so weird that they're not there. And it's the same thing like when I taught, and like all of a sudden the student just wasn't in the hallways anymore, just wasn't in class. And like, it's just like, you just really want to tell people, like, you know, talk to someone. Like if there's any way like that I can help, like I know maybe I can't help, maybe I don't have the tools that I need to, but like together we can walk through this and we can find something, like get you to a place where you feel like you can still continue. And so like I just really want to echo that sentiment. And one of the things that in the past few years has really become a lot more prevalent and a lot more, I think people use it a lot more, and it's a lot more socially acceptable, is to seek help. And one of the ways that people do that is obviously through the suicide prevention hotline. And so I know that like mostly we have tacos in the group that listen to this, but I know we also have some random listeners occasionally because you know, I look at the stats sometimes. And so that's one thing, like, whether if you're a taco, by all means, like, and you're having trouble, like, talk to someone in the clan that you trust. If you're not a taco and you don't like know how to, like, you're like, oh well, I don't know how to join in on this like group me chat or your Discord or whatever. You know, you can still, like, there's the National Suicide Prevention hotline that you can call. There's also, I mean, like, you can like tweet at us on Twitter or whatever. Like, if you have a Twitter, what's our Twitter? DeltaCo_71.
Yep.
I actually shortened it up. It's at DFC Podcast.
Oh, well, that's
nice.
way easier.
You got that?
Yeah, at DFC. Well, at DFC Pod. Podcast was taken. Damn you.
So
We'll
DFC
put it
podcast
in the description for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that
Just
works.
yeah, at DFC Pod.
So I just wanted to chip in real quick. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline, the number for that is 1-800-273-8255. It's 1-800-273-8255. So write it down if you need it, please.
And again, and it's yeah, it's definitely like all that sort of stuff like is no judgment. Like let's be honest, like we've all had, or at least I hope I'm not the weirdo that is the only one here, but we've all had situations in our life where, like, you know, this really sucks, and like we all get down about stuff, we all get depressed, and it's all maybe I don't want to use the word depressed, but we have struggles, and the way we deal with them isn't necessarily always going to be the same. But, you know, like people are going to be able to relate to you. People are going to be able to say, like, you know, I've never been in this exact situation, but if I were, you know, this is how I would feel. And so, like, you know, find someone to talk to, whether it's a friend, family member, a random voice on the internet named No Face or whatever, or the suicide hotline prevention. Like, that is a huge thing that we're trying to plug here. And especially, like, even if you're not suicidal and you just want someone to talk to, like, you know, that helps sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just looking for somebody to talk to, just you can hit. I'm pretty sure that any of us will be, you know, feel free to talk to you. But for me personally, you can always, you know, hit me up on Twitter at Audio Reborn, or, you know, you can find me on Facebook or whatever, you know, because I know what it's like to be at that dark corner of your mind, and it's not fun. There's been plenty of times where I've almost been there, and when you look back at things and you realize what you have and the best things about it, you know, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. So please, you can contact any of us or just call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
Well, and I just want to talk about just a little bit the stigma, because, like, I don't know, I think in at least the United States, culturally, it's kind of like everyone should be an island on their own and everyone should handle their own problems. Like, don't bother me with your problems. Like, that's not true anymore. Like, maybe in the days of Teddy Roosevelt, like everyone was just trying to survive at that point. Like, now, like, we're all together. We've got so many resources to help others. Like, you don't have to deal with it alone. And don't you dare for 1 second believe the lie that we'd be better off without you, or anybody would be, that you'd be better off without you. Like,
Agreed.
Yeah, for real.
There is always a tomorrow. Things pass. So please reach out, share your struggles. You know, if you lose a leg mentally, like if you, it's like why don't we consider mental health issues on the same caliber as, like, the flu or like paraplegia, or like any of these other disabilities? Like, it really is the same thing. And don't be afraid to reach out for resources. If you lost a leg, right, you'd get help. You wouldn't walk around with nothing, right? You wouldn't not use crutches. You wouldn't refuse a prosthetic. You'd use that because you have to go on. But the problem is with mental health issues, the solution is not, it's final. There is no tomorrow to get help. So get help. Get help now. Talk to people.
Please.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things, like, so as gamers, like us as gamers, obviously video games are a big part of our life. And like, this is the audio and Krakenfall and myself talked about this last week about how video games really impacted our lives and, as we were growing up and different stuff like that. And one of the things that definitely like is obvious between the three of us and probably Moss as well is that video games have a huge impact on our mental health. And that's whether and I'm not saying like video games are the answer to all sorts of stuff, but I mean, whether it's depression or anxiety or post-traumatic stress, those sort of things, all these mental things, the aspects of video games can help with that. Like, there are some games out there that actually specifically deal with mental health, and some of them are good, some of them are not so good. But even just like we were talking earlier, the social aspects of games, like that's a huge thing. Like we just talked so much about, like, find someone to talk to. And if you have, like, I know for a fact, like, the tacos have helped me through some like rough times. I'm like I'll just straight up, tell people in like, Xbox chat or whatever, or party chat. There we go. I'll just tell them like what's going on in my life, and like just talking to them makes a huge difference. So I know in my life, having video games as both an outlet and a social aspect has really, really improved my mental health. I'm not saying it's going to, be the cure-all for everyone, but it's definitely a way that we can help. And so like as we are gamers, it's definitely something I wanted to tie in and talk about how we can actually, use video games to help with the sort of mental health issues that you might have.
Yeah. Well, and it's like one of the things I think about, because I try not to think about it too much, but I really appreciate, because I think after Tim's passing, I noticed a lot more like I don't know, like Moss and Husker and others kind of just reached out and started connecting on a deeper level, which I really appreciate, because I kind of wonder, like, how many times did Tim play with us? And he's in essentially a full room, 6 people talking in chat in a raid or whatever. How many times did he feel like he couldn't actually say what he wanted to say? Like, how many times did he feel like he couldn't actually talk to us? I can't claim to know what was going on in his head, because I can't say that I can relate to him. I wish I could, but I wish he did talk. And I wonder, like, if you reach out, people are looking for connection. So please reach out. So to sort of lead in that, we've got there's a reason we're talking about this stuff, because not only has it really touched our clan, and like, the topic of mental health is critical, I think, and it's kind of going to be huge moving forward for just, our kids and kids nowadays, and us, like, pretty much for everyone. And as we get into a more digital age, like, it's pretty awesome to see tools being developed and like movements to raise awareness. And so today we're here basically to lead up to talk about the Saint 14 charity stream, which is a pretty cool thing. It's based out of Destiny. It kind of came about because of that. Next week we're having, and actually, audio, I'll have you take off or take it.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I was just kind of browsing through the old social media here, and I saw this thing called the Saint 14 Project. So I saw Saint 14 and I was like, okay, I got to check this out because I'm a huge Saint 14 fan. So I saw this, and this Saint 14 project is actually a mental health awareness and support. It's a charity stream. It starts on the 10th of February, and it's going to be going from 12 hours from 12 noon to 12 midnight Eastern time. And it's about mental health awareness, and this is a charity stream, and the charity is called Take This. Just if you wanted just a general idea for people that are listening, it's basically the logo is two wings with a shield and a sword on it. And if you're familiar with the game Zelda, you remember when the wizard gives Link the sword, it says "Take this," it's dangerous to go alone, that kind of stuff. That's kind of the gist of it. So next week we're going to have a special guest on, and his name is Sentinel Dad, and he's the co-founder of the charity stream. So we're going to have him on, and we're going to talk about the stream and mental health awareness and just what it came about too. So
yeah, we do apologize for having like the hyper low there about Tim, but it's definitely something we need to talk about.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Saint 14 project, definitely something we want to plug. And this is another way that just, again, like as a community of gamers, yes, we have our community of tacos, and it's amazing. But like as a broader community, I think, like echoing what Kraken said, it's great to see that this is no longer like a taboo topic anymore. Like if you have mental health issues, like, like I said, anxiety, depression, all that sort of stuff, if you have that, like there's obviously huge amounts of support out there, and so I think that's great that I'm going to phrase this terribly, but like that we're celebrating, mental health awareness. Like it's not a taboo subject anymore. So I honestly think that it's great that things like this exist. And sorry, I cut you off there, Moss.
No, you did.
Oh, I thought I did.
Anyways, so yeah, sorry about getting so deep. It's just I feel like that's something that we really needed to just talk about for a while, and I'm glad we were able to get that on the table and kind of really talk about it, because I think that's the first time I've actually like really talked about it with you guys. So I feel better now that I did that. So it's nice to get that out. Sorry, I choked. I did cry a little bit. Sorry guys,
okay.
But it just I've been there.
Yeah.
And just in thinking about like friends that I've had in the past and me personally, it's that shit is no joke. So please, if you feel like you're alone, you're not. You can always hit us up, or you can call the National Prevention Hotline. So, anyways, anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
Yeah, so the Saint 14 project, you can visit their Twitter at Saint 14, the numbers 14, and project. So Saint 14 project. And their stream starts, we're going to talk about it next week, but depending on whether or not we get our podcast published by the time the stream starts, the stream starts February 10th from noon to midnight EST. So that, look forward to that. We'll post the links in the description. So you can definitely go set that in your calendar. Go take a watch. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and if you forget, if you listen to next week, we'll remind you. So there you go. All right. So we'd like to thank you all for listening, and we'll hope you have a great day. Peace.
It's raining tacos.